Huge thanks to Patreon member Robert Forbes for joining on the Tribal Chief tier. Thank you for supporting the channel and making these videos possible. If you want to be like Robert and become a member over on Patreon, the options are on your screen here. Follow the link in the description and support the channel. Once again, thank you to Robert Forbes for becoming a member of the Tribal Chief tier. Welcome back to Local to Global here on Spike Piledriver Wrestling. My name is Anders, and this is the series where we take a local promotion on Total Extreme Wrestling 9 and try and make them the biggest in the world. It's January of 1998. We started the save in January of 1992, so we're a long way in. Welcome. If you are new to the channel and the series, make sure you get subscribed. Like the video if you enjoy what you see here. If you want to go back to the beginning, there's a playlist with all of the episodes in order. You can check that out at the end of the video. Also at the end of the video, you'll see every single member of our Patreon. All their names will appear there. They support the channel in any way they can, and we really appreciate all of you, or rather I really appreciate all of you. Everyone else, get subscribed. Basically, that's the way you can support the channel. You want to check out the Patreon, please do so. Like the video, check out the rest of the series on the playlist. If you want to see me play some other wrestling games for the first time, you can see them here on the channel. We did a couple whilst I was away on holiday, so I've just come back from holiday. That's why there's been a bit of a delay between this and the last episode. But you can check those out as well. They've been dropping over the last couple of weeks. But without any further ado, it's January of 1998, and we're going to do something that we always do at the beginning of the episodes. We're going to check out our championship situation, and we'll ignore that one for a second. We'll start with the World Heavyweight Championship, and this is now currently held by Raven, the three-time champion who defeated Mark Merrow at our last event, our last pay-per-view in the last episode. He becomes a three-time champion. He last held the belt back in, for all of 1996, pretty much, from October 95 to December 96. And before that, when he was Scotty the Body, back in 1993. So he's a three-time champion, held it through pretty much all eras of the company. Our World Junior Heavyweight Champion is Taka Michinoku, who won the belt back in December. He defeated Angel Azteca, who had held the title for a couple of months. Tag team champions are the Hardy Brothers. They're two-time champs. They defeated Samu and Kukina Maximus of the the Tribe of Savagery. They also defeated Haku and Konga the Barbarian in the last pay-per-view as well. So they've got one over on both teams in that Bloodline from Temu kind of group. Yo, Monkey Boy, listen up. If you ain't all jacked up, then hit the bricks and subscribe to some other loser. But if you are jacked and you are ready to let someone feel the bang, then subscribe to me. It's not like there's a choice anyway. But Hardy's are current champions for the second time. And the World Television Champion, speaking of the Throne of Savagery, is Samu, who defeated Tatsumi Fujinami back on Boxing Day. So Fujinami obviously took us to Japan for an episode of Unleashed, which was last episode of the series. That makes sense. Yes, it does. Other achievements / titles in the company. We've got the King of Combat, which is our Battle Royal. It's basically our equivalent to the Royal Rumble. Happens in November, so you don't need to worry about that right now. But we are also, in this episode, going to debut, probably not crown, but debut the Piledriver Grand Prix, which is going to be our round-robin G1 Climax kind of equivalent that we are starting, basically, today. We're going to start the round robin. It's going to be 2 blocks of 8, so 16 men in total, going through to a knockout round afterwards. I'm not sure if it's going to be the top 2 or the top 3 in each block, going into a single elimination knockout round to crown the winner at High Voltage in May. So, I think it's May. Let me just double check that. High Voltage, I can't double check that. Show history from 1997, because we haven't changed the order of things. I'm pretty sure High Voltage is May. It is, yes. So High Voltage in May. So we're going to go through basically from the equivalent of this episode here. So we did Glory Road. Hang on, go back to 1998. Did Glory Road at the end of last episode. The next set of TV tapings, which is actually episode 150 of Unleashed, is where we're going to announce Piledriver Grand Prix and kick things off. Obviously, if you weren't with us in the last episode, you missed an absolute humdinger as Ricky Steamboat defeated Rob Van Dam in the main event. Got a 97 rating. The show got a 94 overall. So it was a blinder. But that's the situation as we go into today's episode. Our size, our popularity is here. You can see us in America. We're the third biggest promotion in America now, getting pretty much into the 60s for every region. Northwest and then the two islands are not in the 60s yet, but we're nearly at the point where we can improve our broadcaster. I think MTV may be where we're going next if we can get across the threshold before our current broadcasting deal expires in April. I think we should be able to do. Canada is coming along nicely as well, up into the 50s for a few regions. And the Maritimes and Manitoba are slowly ticking over as well into the 30s now. Mexico, we are bringing up the two northeast and northwest regions to try and get up to 40. I think we need to get into for those two regions to get a good deal for broadcasting our shows in Mexico, which we haven't got a deal yet. So we're trying to build it up there. We'd run a show a month for free tickets for those two regions to try and boost our popularity there. Over in the UK, we're currently being shown on Eurosport. We want to get to a position where we can move that over to ITV, and I think we need to get the Midlands up to 48. I think we need to have two regions above 48. We can check this later in the episode, but I think we need two regions above 48 to get that deal. That will, however, remove our coverage in Europe, but we need to get above 20 in the different regions to start unlocking some of the regional broadcasters in Europe as well, because apart from Eurosport, no other broadcaster covers the whole of Europe. And there's Japan. So we bought All Japan Women's Pro Wrestling 2 episodes ago, I want to say. So we've got really good coverage in Japan now as well, and got really good popularity, up in the 60s pretty much across the board. And then Oceania and India, we are not bothered about just yet, so don't worry about them. Right, that's kind of setting the scene. We're going to go straight into our first episode of Unleashed for the night. Here's a quick finance. So you can see there that December where we spent 20 million on a promotion. So we're still in the red, but we're going to pull that back slowly but surely. Right, Unleashed is ready to go. Let's do it. We start the show, which is held at the Freedom Hall Civic Centre in front of 8,469 people, with new world champion Raven. He starts the show with an out-of-character, over-the-top championship celebration. He is happy as a guy called Larry. He's now a 3-time world champion and the new ruler of SPW. Mark Merrow got cocky as champion and it came back to bite him. Now, I don't really think that he got cocky, but it did come back to bite him on the ass. And now Raven is champion once again. But the celebrations are cut short as Ricky Steamboat arrives. The Dragon won the main event last week at Glory Road, and he has the pleasure of breaking some news to the new champion and to the fans of SPW. You kind of had a little bit of a spoiler in the thumbnail and, well, in the little bit of a title picture recap that I've just given you. But over the next 3 months, or 4 months, depending on how long it'll last, 18 weeks, I think, 19 weeks, a revolutionary 16-man tournament will go down. The Piledriver Grand Prix. It's a round-robin tournament that starts tonight. The winner earns a World Heavyweight title shot. But the good news for Raven is that he is entered, and if he wins, he'll get a well-deserved night off. So, what will happen is we've got 2 blocks of 8. I'll show you the blocks at the end of the episode because we're starting them tonight. You win the match, you get 2 points. You draw the match, you get 1 point. Simple as that. After everyone has had all 7 of their matches, the top 2 or 3 will go through to a knockout. I haven't decided whether it's going to be 2 or 3 yet. And they will then face the other group, the block winners, and will crown the champion in May. There you go. It's like the G1 Climax. If you're not familiar with the G1 Climax, then you'll just follow along. It'll become clear. We'll show you the league table at the end of each episode. Right, that's the start of the show. 84. Raven, a little bit poor when trying to improvise his dialogue, but still, 84 is a good way to start the show. And we go straight into our first Block B match as Mark Merrow defeats the Patriot. He bounces back from losing the world title, and he is very silent about it all. He does not make a comment, does not cut a promo. He just goes out there, gets the victory, gets a 70 for the match as well, which is always good. And job done. Merrow gets the first point on the board in the whole tournament. It's part of Block B, so Block A and Block B will be separate tournaments in game. Well, that is how it's easiest to run, but we'll show you them both at the end of each TV taping. Right, 70 for Merrow, gets his first victory of the tournament, and we move on to a tag team match as the Throne of Savagery. Konga and Haku get a job victory over the Simpsons. This is basically to fill the last 8 minutes of time. It gets a 60 though, which is good, so that's keeping them ticking. They lost the tag title match at Glory Road last week, so this is just keeping them rolling a little bit here. Moving forward to Goliath, who continues his victory streak, this time beating Brian Blair with a chokeslam. We are going to start moving this story forward, just not this week as we've kicked off the Grand Prix, but we're moving it forward in the way you expect it to be moving forward. As at Ascension, we're probably going to drop the match that you're all expecting. 59 though for the victory, keeping good performances going for Goliath. well done to him. Moving on, RVD cuts a promo. He's moving on from last week. Speaking of moving on, even the best damn wrestler in the world can lose sometimes, and it takes a big man to admit it. RVD's going to prove, though, that he's the best once and for all by beating another 15 men and being the winner of the first ever Piledriver Grand Prix. Doesn't have any problem with his promo this week. 68 for Van Dam, and he goes into the match and he gets an 83 with a fantastic victory over former junior heavyweight champion Angel Azteca, who brings the goods in the match as well. He gets a 67 to RVD's 84. And that's really good. Creative finish, also a success, and RVD gets the first points on the board for Block A. Excellent job for him. Moving on with 2 points from tonight. And that moves us into our main event, which is above average Joe Kazana. And he didn't do very well with that script to follow, but never mind. He's looking to take the biggest scalp he can as he embarks on the Piledriver Grand Prix. You'll be pleased to know he's in Block A. Ricky Steamboat is the first victim tonight, and this might be the biggest match in the Dragon's career, but for Joe, it's just another Friday. Like, it's just such a guy. 45, kind of disappointing, but it leads into the main event, which gets an 80, and unfortunately the creative finish was a failure. That's a shame, though. Ricky Steamboat gets a 90 for his in-ring performance. Chicken Wing makes Joe Kazana submit. 55 for his performance. Unfortunate that it only gets an 80. Crowd a little bit turned off by the promo beforehand, but still, all good, all good. We can't complain too much. Excellent. That's going to give us about a 78, 79 per popularity rating for the show. Increased our popularity in 17 regions. 2 British regions couldn't grow because of the limited viewers. That's annoying. So we're trying to get the Midlands up, and I think we've already hit the cap for the month. Japan also had 1 region capped, but still 17 regions getting a boost, which is all we can really ask for. Finance-wise, made a good 400k nearly on the show, which is great. Popularity, as you can see here, is only up in these US regions, and yeah, everywhere is now going to be capped, I think. No, it's only Shikoku. Why is Shikoku capped? Has it just got a lower... Maybe it's just got a lower coverage or importance, maybe that's why. But anyway, everywhere's up to 61 now, apart from Shikoku in Japan. We aren't getting the Midlands up today. Never mind, but we will move on from here. I'm going to show you the, not the brackets, the league tables for both blocks. And then we'll jump forward to next week, where we'll keep going with the tournament, hopefully. We'll roll through quite a lot of the tournament. Obviously, the tournament's going to happen. There's going to be 3 tournament matches every week on TV, and the intervening pay-per-views will also have 3 tournament matches on them. The rest of like the world title picture would kind of take a bit of a backseat because Raven's in the tournament, so we're not going to have separate world title feuds. It's going to be like how the G1 runs, but it's going to go over 3 months. Kind of just trying it out, see how it goes, basically. And then when we get to high voltage, the 2 weeks before, all of the final block matches will happen. So all the Block A matches will happen one night, all the Block B matches will happen on the next week, and then the finals and the rest of the knockout rounds will happen at high voltage. If you follow me. If you don't, just keep following along. It won't matter. We need to extend the contract of the Patriot because he is in the tournament, so we will just negotiate with him now. Written per show. We're not going to do it for a year because we don't want him around for that long. We'll do him another 6 months and see if he will accept it. Sounds like he might do. That's good. Tim Horner's body has changed. He's now gone from average to tone. Maybe we should push him. Tony Norris is hired. And 2.657 million watched the 150th episode of Unleashed last night. Excellent. Wonderful. Right, the tournament section is here. This is Block A. So we've got Steamboat, Van Dam, Samu, David Boy Smith, The Kid, Fujinami, Angel Azteca, and Joe Kazana in Block A. You can see Van Dam and Steamboat on 2 points already. Block B, we've got Mero, Funk, Raven, Christian Cage, Bagwell, Kakina Maximus, Brutus Blades, and The Patriot are all in Block B. So they will be the 2 blocks as we go through over the next 3 months. Right, let's go forth to... in fact, no, whilst we're here, we'll just... These are our current broadcasting deals. We'll have a look at what we need for those 2 deals we were looking about. So what are we covering here? These are just ones in Europe. We don't want the ones in Europe. Quickly into the US, min coverage size of big, just to get that over there. It's MTV, I think. We need 65 in 6 regions. So we do this a lot. We look at the broadcasting page a lot here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 regions there, and we need to get 65 in 2 more of those 4 that are very close to being 65. So by the time our deal runs out in a couple of what's it? How long's the deal on here? Can we see on this page? I don't think we can. We have to go back into broadcasting for Unleashed. April of 1998. So we've got a few months to get basically 2 popularity points up in a couple of regions. So that is more than doable. If we now go to the British Isles and look at ITV, it's 48 in 2, so we're at 45 in the Midlands. We need to get that up to 48 to get that one. And then Mexico was the next one, wasn't it? If we go to Mexico, I think it was 40 VMX, 40 in 2 regions. So there we go with them. They're the targets we hear. That'll give us big coverage in Mexico as well, which will be great for all the other growth. And if we look at Europe, I'm not going to go through every single one in Europe, but you can see if we go to, I can't remember, was it Channel 1 in Eastern Europe? You need 25 for them, and then there's another one. Is it SVT2 potentially? Yeah, you need 20 in one region. So basically, when we get all of Europe up to 20, it will unlock a whole host of potential broadcasters, which is good. Speaking of, Europe has gone from 13 to 16 already, so we're kind of at the cap already for January from our pay-per-view, so it's going to be a couple of months until we get up to 20 there. British Isles, again, we've already moved up. Is it just 1? It's just 1 in the Midlands, so maybe we're at the cap now of where we can move the Midlands up this month as well. So we'll see. Anyway, we'll keep rolling. We're going to keep getting broadcasting deals improving as we go through. But right now, we're going to move forward to the next episode of Unleashed and keep going with the Pile Driver Grand Prix. Stay tuned. All right, we're back for more Unleashed and more of the Pile Driver Grand Prix, and we're just going to go straight into. I put the show on the wrong order. Right, let's just move the show around. I've just noticed, as we've done this, that we have done the show in the wrong order. That happened. That's not happened for a while, actually. But, yeah, there we go. This is just to show you that everyone does this. So if you do this every now and then, don't worry. You know, you just got to pay attention to where your main event and your opener are. But we've done it now. Right, we're ready to go for Unleashed, episode 151. It's the 16th of January, and we're going to do more matches in our Grand Prix tournament. So let's just go for it. Terry Funk starts the show. Not quite the main event like it was a few seconds ago. But he might be an old man, and that doesn't mean he doesn't know how to wrestle in tournaments. His body might not have what it takes anymore, but he'll damn sure go out into the ring every week and put on a show. And he did a masterful job of interacting with the crowd and improvising said interactions. 81 for the segment rating to kick the show off. Excellent stuff. The match doesn't quite hold up as much, but Brutus Blades gets the victory with his high knee and defeats Terry Funk, and they have great chemistry. I don't think we knew that. That's some new chemistry. That's good, that is. Funk gets a 67. Brutus gets a 61. Match overall gets a 68. It's not bad at all, but it's why it's the opener. But Brutus picks up 2 points in the Block B of the Grand Prix, and we move on to a non-Grand Prix match as Bill Goldberg defeats Luke Williams of the Sheepherders. Jack Hammer gets the job done, gets a 50 overall for the match, and the slight slow push of Goldberg continues. But we'll get there. Moving on to someone else who we're going to be pushing, Goliath. And he defeats Van Hammer and puts in a better in-ring performance than him. So this shows you how much we're pushing Goliath. He is coming along nicely. He gets a 55 for the match rating. But that's not where Goliath's night ends, because after his victory, he grabs a microphone. He demands better opposition after destroying absolutely everyone in his path. And speaking of his path, there's one man stood at the end of it. Goliath calls out Andre the Giant, but he knows that the old man won't come out because he never has done. What does that mean, you ask? Well, you'll find out. Well, you already know, but you'll find out. 52, not great, but Big Show puts a decent promo in, not too bad. But showing him how it's done. World Champion Raven declares that he hates that he's forced to play by someone else's rules despite being the world champion. He's got to wrestle and beat the whole damn company in order to get a night off on pay-per-view. Raven isn't going to back down from this bullshit though. Tonight he's going to show exactly why he's the world champion, and when he wins the Pile Driver Grand Prix, he'll enjoy his night off. Gets a 92 for this superb promo, no script. Palm of his hand the entire time. And then the match itself's not too bad at all as he faces fellow heel Coquina Maximus and defeats him with an even flow DDT to get his first points on the board tonight. We're at the Lakeland Centre, by the way, 7,089 in attendance. Not sure why it's gone down a little bit, but maybe we should hold our TV show somewhere else next week. Gets to 71 though, and this is why it wasn't the main event, because the next match should do better. 71 is a good one though. And we then feature our World TV Champion Samu, who has his sights set on being a double champion. And his road starts tonight against Tatsumi Fujinami, a man that he beat to become the TV champion. Samu's beat him before, and he'll beat him again tonight. Struggled a little bit without a script. Only gets to 62, which is disappointing because he can do better. But in ring, it's not disappointing, as he does do better. Better than Fujinami anyway, who beats him in 19 minutes with a roll-up. So I don't think I mentioned. All these matches are going to have 20-minute time limits, so we will have some draws at some point. But a 19-minute roll-up from Fujinami to get the job done. Gets an 81. Fujinami gets his win back, but does not get his title back because this was not for the TV title. He does get 2 points, though, in Block A. And we get an 82, so we've increased our popularity in 18 regions. It's, again, limited in the 2 British regions, which is annoying, but never mind. Still, excellent. We can move on from that. That's good. Good show. 81 main event, 92 Raven promo. It's okay. You can't really complain about that too much. Finance-wise, again, 360,000 on the show's not bad. Popularity recap. Up everywhere in the US, up to 71 in a couple of regions now, 64 in New England, so we're getting close to 65. And again, increases in Japan. Nowhere going out elsewhere in Europe or the UK, but still okay. We've hit the essentially we've hit the cap for the month in those regions, so it's not going to change until we get to February. But that's okay. Right, January the 16th was done. That's episode 2 of Unleashed. Of this episode, we've obviously got. Of this episode of Local to Global, that is. We've got the next week, and then there's a 4th one before we get to the 5th Unleashed and our next pay-per-view. But obviously, we're going to heavily focus on the Grand Prix. We are going to have to, at some point, go through and put on some other matches for the pay-per-view, and not just rely on the Grand Prix, because we've got some other titles that we need to actually focus on as well. Rio de Jalisco, how are you pronouncing it? Junior. Anyway, his contract is up, but he will not negotiate with us, so we're not going to poach him from CMLL. Everywhere else in the world wants to poach him, though. Sean Simpson's contract's ending. We're probably going to let the Simpsons just expire soon. 2.7 million now watching on TV for Unleashed. Excellent stuff. Not much else to report, really. Finances are going well for the month. Hopefully we can make a good profit and not have to pay too much tax. And we try and turn this 10 million deficit around. Should hopefully take us a few months. But we'll get there. Right, we'll move on to our next TV taping, and this is just kind of what I was on about here. So we've got Unleashed on the 23rd and the 30th, and then we'll have a trip to Mexico here, because that's the first Sunday of the month. Then we'll do Unleashed and Ascension, and then our next trip to Mexico will be on the 7th of February to try and continue growing in those regions. But we'll have more Unleashed, more Unleashed, more Unleashed again, full throttle, Unleashed and Legacy. And then it's High Voltage on the 1st of May, which is where we're going to crown our first Grand Prix winner. But that's to come. We'll go forward now to the next week and keep ticking along with the Grand Prix. In fact, we'll just give you the table here. Everyone's on 2 points. 3 winners in each block. Someone will be having their second match soon, as we've only got 1 match left in each block. Davey Boy Smith will be on TV next against the Kid. As you can see, Christian Cage and Marcus Bagwell will also be wrestling there. Right, let's go. And we are back for more Unleashed, the 3rd week of our Grand Prix tournament. And we're going to go straight into things. Again, interesting to note, actually, before we do, Davey Boy Smith came to us. I don't know if I can show you one here. Is it Promises I need to go to? I don't know if there's anything in the Promise page. Yes, there is, here. Davey Boy Smith has offered to put over Goliath 2 times before April. So I know Goliath's not in the tournament, and we're pushing him towards a match with Andre, and Davey is in the tournament, and we're pushing him generally. But we might have to at least use one of those matches, because that would really help. Where's Davey Boy Smith's popularity? He's in the 70s, and Goliath, he's just nearly into the 50s, and he's incredibly quick, his improvements over the last couple of months, because we're pushing him non-stop. So that would really help. Speaking of, where's Andre? Andre is in the 60s, so after he's beat Andre, obviously, if he beats Andre. That is an option for us to move on to. Right, let's go. And speaking of Davey Boy Smith, oh, by the way, we're at the Bell County Expo Centre. It's our Mid-South debut. 6,559 people in attendance. Davey Boy Smith has been sitting on the sidelines, waiting to get involved in the Power Driver Grand Prix. He's in one of the final first phase matches, because everyone else has had one. He's been chomping at the bit, literally, eager to get back into the ring. And tonight is the night, and he's going to prove that this dog's bite is worse than his bark. Good promo, 72. I liked it. I wrote it. 72, good. Match itself also gets to 72 as Davey Boy Smith defeats X-Pac in 10 minutes with a running power slam. First points on the board for Davey Boy. He gets 71 for his in-ring performance and pulls up the match rating because the kid is knackered at 29 or whatever he is. 72 for the match itself. Not bad. Moving on. We get a six-man tag as Kai and Tai and Steven Regal take on Flamante Turbo, Super Crazy, and Perry Saturn, who gets the victory. He makes Funaki submit with the Rings of Saturn. Now, you might be thinking, Saturn, he's not a junior heavyweight. Technically, he weighs 220 pounds still, so he is under the limit, so why not? Saturn and Taka is our new junior heavyweight championship feud. Why not? He's just made his tag team partner submit, so we've got rationale for it. Don't say anything. It's okay. Saturn and Regal with a 62. Taka with a 60. The rest in the mid-40s. 64 overall is good, though. And then we get our Goliath promo. So despite not having a match tonight, he once again calls out Andre the Giant and alludes to the fact that the Giant was never there for them. And he knows that Andre was a hero to millions, but all he was to Goliath was an absent father. Banging the desk. Goliath wants a match at Ascension, and he will indeed ascend to the throne as king of all the Giants. Much to Goliath's surprise and the fans in attendance surprise, Andre walks out. He attempts to defuse the situation, but Goliath pushes him and storms out of the ring, refusing to even speak to him. He didn't do very well with that script, though. Gets a 57. Okay, I mean, angles are... we're working on them. He's charismatic, but he's not got much microphone skills. Still, we're pushing him to the moon. Andre Goliath is set for Ascension, beginning of February. Mark it in your calendars. Next up, decent match. Hardys defend the titles against the Dirty White Boys. And I think I mentioned last episode, but Len Denton is off to the WWF. His contract expires in about 3 or 4 weeks, and we're not going to renew Tony Anthony. So this is their last hurrah, basically. Good defense for the Hardys, though. Matt gets the victory. Omega event gets a 60 for the match rating. That is okay by me as a mid-card match. Moving forward to some more tournament action as Christian Cage gets the victory over former TV champ Marcus Bagwell with an impaler in 12.5 minutes. Points on the board for Christian. This is the final first match. It's the final first match. That makes sense, right? Gets a 65 though. Christian with a 53. And Bagwell with a 65. Wasn't really sure who to put over in this one. These guys probably aren't going to feature at the top of the blocks, but still, good match, 65. Moving on towards our main event, as we see Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, not Ricky Stradragon, I couldn't know what I was about to say, but he's thrilled by the Power Driver Grand Prix. It's giving him the opportunity to showcase how good he is in the ring, and how good some of the talent here in SPW are in the ring as well, especially tonight's opponent, Angel Azteca, a great talent and future megastar in the business. Gets an 81. No comments made about this segment. Thank you, Ricky. The match is also an 81 as Steamboat and Azteca put on a classic in the ring. Steamboat looks good coming out of it, and a chicken wing gets the submission once again. Steamboat on the board with his second victory. I believe that is 4 points. So he's beat Kazana, beat Azteca. Good for him. 81. Raven then storms the ring and blindsides Steamboat. This isn't good for Steamboat. He screams about how he is the world champion for a reason and drops the dragon with an even flow DDT and stands tall as Unleashed goes off the air with his title held in the air. Different type of air. 92 though to close the show. Gives us an 82 overall. Popularity is only going up in 3 regions now. We're hitting the caps of potential gains we can do everywhere. So that's just what happens. Finish the show. 82 overall is good. Finance-wise, 357,000. Popularity recap. Yeah, Southeast up to 76. We weren't even in the Southeast. Tri-State up to 73. Basically, all the regions where we haven't hit the cap or just those ones. So we need to wait until February to get more popularity. So it's going to be pointless looking at the screen for the next couple of weeks. But that's it. There we go. That's Unleashed episode 3 of the episode. We're going to go into episode 4 and then 5, I think, is the adding days on, set 30th, and then the beginning of February. So yes, we've got 2 more episodes of Unleashed before Ascension, which we'll also do here. We might do another episode of Unleashed, depending on time-wise. But that's it for this one, and I'll see you in the next one in a few seconds as we skip forward 6 days. You know the drill by now. Alright then, back for more Unleashed and more tournament action. And what doing this Grand Prix has basically shown me is that it makes booking the weekly TV easier, but it just needs to make sure we are giving the rest of the big stars who are being rotated through the night off, and we've done that, so don't need to worry. But we are ready for Unleashed 153, which I think is the 4th one of this episode, the last one of January anyway. The only booking analysis note there is because I've pre-booked next week's tournament matches, so don't worry, everything's fine. Starting the show, and we're at the Broadbent Arena, which I think is a new region with... Is this Mid-Atlantic? I think we're in Mid-Atlantic. Sorry, I set the show up yesterday, and now I'm recording it today. So I think it's our Mid-Atlantic debut, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it is. Opening contest is between Tatsumi Fujinami and Joe Kazana. Above average Joe does not quite get the job done. Dragon Suplex from Fujinami is the way we finish. Gets a 62 for the opening contest. Fujinami's in-ring performance down at 60. He's tailing off a little bit. I think we peaked with him at the right time for the TV title. Big Joe, 42. We kind of haven't brought in Angus King for a while either, so we might need to figure that out, as we've started that and then promptly forgot about it. 62 there, though. That's fine. Okay, moving on. We get Jerry the King Lawler and his son Brian. They're both pissed off because neither man has been given the respect that the royal family of wrestling deserve. And I've kind of run out of ideas of what to do with them. But they've decided to take matters into their own hands tonight. They lay down a challenge to the Hardy Brothers for the tag team titles. They're going to have a tag title match next, and they want a shot at Ascension next week. Lawler came across well, enjoyed the freedom going off script. Only got 48 though, so never mind. The Lawlers then defeat the Simpsons. Homer and Marge, I keep making that joke and it's not even funny. In tag team action, 8 minutes. Power driver from Jerry. No one in the ring is any good, really. 45 for Jerry Lawler is the highest. Gets a 47 overall. Move swiftly on. We then get Andre the Giant coming down to the ring. He begins to talk about his son, but Goliath clobbers him from behind. The younger Giant attacks his father, but can't knock the old man off his feet. They go back and forth a little bit, but security are on the ball. 20 men, roughly, swarm the ring and hold the two behemoths apart. I was expecting, when they're both just rated on fighting, that it would be a little bit higher than a 46. But middle of the road. I've not got many expectations for the match itself at Ascension to be that great, but that's where we are. That's okay. And another one that's just okay is Perry Saturn. Struggled when going off script, but he lays down a challenge for Taka Michinoku and the junior heavyweight title. He explains that whilst he might not look like a junior or wrestle like a junior, he comes in just under the £220 limit, or rather spot on the £220 limits. And with a victory of Taka, kind of in 6-man action last week, that makes him the #1 contender. Taka's reign faces total elimination at Ascension. This is basically because I've kind of stopped using Saturn over the last few months, probably even a little longer. It's just kind of everyone else has come in and been better than him, and he can only sort of go 10, 12 minutes. So he's gone down the card. 49. He's not lining up, really, is it, at the moment? Tag team action, though, was Perry Saturn teams with Super Crazy to take on Taka and Funaki. Saturn makes Funaki... Well, he pins him this time rather than making him submit with a Death Valley driver. Gets a 63. Saturn with his still high in-ring performance, 67. Taka at 60. The other guys in the match, mid-40s. Chemistry for Funaki and Taka once again. But a good, solid match. Hopefully going to bring the rest of the card up as we go into the final 2 matches of the night. And hopefully we can start bringing this card back around. And we start to do so as RVD and the Kid go off in tournament action. RVD gets the victory with a Van Daminator in 10 minutes because Sean Waltman cannot go longer than 10 minutes. There we go. In-ring performance for RVD's in the 80s still. He's still got it. Kid hasn't anymore. Creative finish was a success, even though it was a bit of a... I think it might have even been a big gamble, that one. But we get a 77 overall, which leads us nicely into our main event. As former world champion Mark Merrow breaks his silence since losing the title. He's not spoke or had a microphone or done anything other than one tournament match since losing the title at the beginning of the month. He admits that his focus had been split over recent months. He was focusing on RVD and Raven and getting a bit lost, mainly falling into Raven's trap, and Raven took full advantage of it. No surprise there. The Marvelous One knows exactly what he needs to do now in order to get back to the top of the promotion, and that's win the Piledriver Grand Prix. Something he knows he can do as long as he remains focused. Foreshadowing for him losing his focus in the next match. 84 though for the angle. Nicely done, Mr. Mero. And he does, in fact, lose the next match to Brutus Blades with a high knee. Creative finish a success. The creative finish basically being Mero is just not focused. Loses his focus, gets distracted by something shiny in the audience maybe. Maybe Sable's tit fell out, who knows. 82, sorry for putting that image in your mind at the end of this video. 82 for the match. It's a good way to close the show. Mero pulls in the good performance. Brutai gets a 63 just to keep things in a good ballpark. But closes the show with a victory. And we've gained popularity in only one region now, which is because we are at the cap for the month. We need to get into February to get a few more gains. But the show turned itself around towards the end. 78's not bad overall. Could have been better, but not bad. 340k in the bank. Popularity recap. Hawaii goes up to 52. Everywhere else has not moved. Right, that's okay. We're a new month in a day anyway, so we can start getting the gains we need. I'm going to give you a quick league table update before we go into the final two shows of the episode. We're going to do the final TV and then Ascension. Leave it on a high at the pay-per-view and then go through it all again in the next episode as we continue our Piledriver Grand Prix. And obviously, as I mentioned earlier in the video, we got 2.7 million once again watching, just under 2.7 million. I have now set up a few matches for the pay-per-view. So we've got the tag title match, the junior heavyweight title match, Andre and Goliath. So that's at least 3 non-tournament matches going on at the pay-per-view, and another 3 tournament matches as well. But in Group A, Block A, RVD and Steamboat are currently at the top with 2 victories. Oh, sorry, it's Fujinami actually as well. So the kids lost twice. Angeles Tekka has also lost twice. I believe they are facing each other at Ascension. I think that's their next match on the schedule, but you'll find that out in a few moments. In terms of Group B, it's just Brutus at the top now with 2 victories from 2 matches. Mero's split his 2 matches, but no one else has had a second match yet, with more of that on Unleashed. But Brutus is leading the way in Block B, whereas it's a 3-way tie at the top of Block A. Right, we'll go forward into a new month. In fact, we'll just skip forward into the new month now and have a look at finances before we go any further and go to Unleashed for 3 more tournament matches, and that's going to be quickly followed by Ascension for another 3. So there's 6 more tournament matches left in this video. Breathe for a second. Sorry, talking very fast. I want you to let me know your thoughts on the tournament, basically, if it's a good idea. It's going to take up 3 months and kind of book itself a little bit. We've got a few threads going through. Obviously, Mero started well after losing the title, but then he's losing his focus. He's lost a match to Brutus, who's apparently putting in a good run. I want you to tell me your thoughts on whether it should be the top 3 in each block that goes through to a knockout. So basically, 2nd and 3rd split across the groups. The winners face the group winners, if that makes sense. We'll do a bit like the Stardom 5-star Grand Prix. I think that's the top 3 moving into the knockouts. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Whether it should be top 3, top 2. Don't think top 4 is going to work and have quarterfinals, but let me know if you think that would be an idea. NWA, Horizon have started as well. Wonderful. I don't really care about that. I want to look at our finance for the month. Made just 1.2 million, which is a little bit. It's a little bit. It's the best we've ever made, but I'm hoping to have made a bit more. We've been taxed nearly 700k, which is annoying. But we're just going to have to keep making money, basically. Hopefully, it won't take us to the point where we go bankrupt and get disbanded by being in the red for so long. It was a gamble buying All Japan Women, but hopefully we can start taking that down. I did just want to check. No, I don't want to do that. I want to look here. Where are we? We're not quite at 65 yet. I think what we're going to do is when we get to 65, we're going to sign a deal with MTV for the TV show. I'm off to Mexico now, so you can just ignore the Mexican shows because we're not going to come back for those. But we're going to be 28, hopefully, in these 2 regions by the next time you see us. So let's go forward to Unleashed and Ascension in 5 days' time. Okay, it's go home show time, and it's slightly different from normal go home shows because, well, the pay-per-view is still just part of the tournament, so it's kind of a go home show, but there's no big main event that's for the world title at least. But we'll go through tonight's show. We've got slightly more we've got more no, we've just got one less angle than normal because the matches go a little bit longer, and you'll find out why as we go through the show. Let's just go through though. We're at the Thompson Bowling Arena in the southeast once again, hopefully to sell out. All four members of the Throne of Savagery start the show with Sherry Martel introducing her men. Kikina and Samu are both in Grand Prix action tonight. Both men are also looking forward to destroying the rest of their groups and fighting it out in the finals. Haku and Konga are in tag team action. They've got their sights set on regaining the tag titles for the Throne, obviously. Konga hasn't been a tag team champion. It was Kikina and Samu who were the tag team champions. But still, it's all part of the same group. Everyone looked good, apart from Kikina didn't do very well without script, but everyone else did really well. Got a 56. Not bad. Not bad at all for our mid-card heel stable who are going to be all over this show. Opening match sees Kikina defeat the Patriot with a Savat kick and get a victory in Block B. Kikina gets a 56 for his in-ring performance, and he's slowly but surely getting more and more over in America. He's still more over in Mexico, I think, from his time in the UWA, but we are trying. We're trying to get him there. 56 for the opening contest, not too bad. Crowd simmering, and they continue to simmer as the Throne of Savagery, Haku and Konga this time, defeat the Killer Bees. The Asian Spike making Brian Blair tap out, or pass out, or however, I don't know. Mid-50s for their performance. The Bees were kind of similar as well, really, so can't really go wrong at all. 59, still okay. Crowd still simmering, not quite heated up just yet, and this one isn't going to get them there either, as Matt Hardy defeats Brian Lawler as a preview to the tag team title match later in the night as the Hardys defend against the Lawlers. 53, okay, can't really complain. We then heat things up a little bit more as Marcus Bagwell defeats Terry Funk in a Block B match. Diving clothesline off the top rope gets the victory for Bagwell. 74 for the match rating. He puts in a 70. Funk only at 63. I think we've kind of taken the edge off Funk's in-ring performances by him losing quite a few times and him still getting older. But still not bad at all. 74. Can't complain too much there. Bagwell then takes a microphone in his celebration and claims that this is just the start of his ascension. Pun very much intended. To the top of SPW. Winning the Power Driver Grand Prix will get Buff Daddy the world title shot that he truly deserves, and he enjoyed the freedom of going off script, and we got a 68 angle out of it, which leads us into our main event, which sees Samu and Davey Boy Smith go wire to wire for a time limit draw, and they have great chemistry as well. Both men putting in cracking in-ring performances. Samu at an 88. Davey Boy at 78. The match gets an 85. This is much better than I was expecting. I was thinking, hopefully, high 70s. But the great chemistry, the in-ring performances boosted by such. Crowd loved it. Match rating at an 85 in the blue, which is always good. Great way to close the show. And then to finally close the show, we get a promo from Ricky Steamboat. Now, 2 weeks ago, Raven attacked the Dragon, but he is here to tell the world champion that the Dragon don't play no games, so unless Raven wants to put the world title on the line right here tonight, he needs to stay out of the Dragon's way. He's faced bigger and badder men over his career, and if Ramen is determined to play mind games, they will backfire. 89 from Steamboat's promo, closes the TV show there, gets us an 83 overall rating. Back up to 37 regions for show increased popularity, which is good. One thing to note, I may have accidentally put the Mexican show on pay-per-view in Canada, so if we get lower pay-per-view buys for Ascension later tonight, you've got me to blame for it, obviously. Finish the show there though, 83, and we're going to go straight into Ascension. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set it up, get everything made sure booked, and I'll be back in a second. It should take me a couple of minutes off screen. But I'm not going to bore you with the details. You've seen me book before. You know how many mistakes I make along the way, so expect me to have done some of those. See you in a second. Okay then, we are ready to go with Ascension. We're going to have a couple of pre-show matches, even though we had just the TV taping straight before it. But whatever. Tim Horner, Hoovy, and Psychosis defeat Shiryu, Rhino, and Todd Champion. Horner getting the victory with a rolling cradle, 46. This is just to get them on the card, because most of these guys haven't been seen since November or December. So, sorry, but there you go. You've been booked now, 46. Okay, and then we'll just get RVD on the pre-show to get the crowd nice and warm as he gets victory over Stevie Ray, who has not been seen since November. Sorry, Stevie. It's Booker's fault. He left you, not mine. 80 for the match is a good, very, very good pre-show match. But, you know, it's just to get RVD on the card, essentially. We go into the real start of things, and this is a poor way to start the show, because apparently Angel Azteca's promos are not as good when we're not in Mexico. He struggled without a script. Never mind, starts the show with a promo. He hasn't been successful yet in the Grand Prix, but he wants to get victory tonight for all of Mexico. He loves his nation and Lucha Libre, and will show the power of Lucha tonight and get his first points on the board. And hopefully he's better in the ring than this angle. Oops. Sorry. The match is going to be better though, 63. Crowd are not interested. They're disinterested, in fact. But Angel Azteca gets the victory with a Hurricane Rana over the Kid, who's not happy to put him over, but I don't care anymore. I've cocked things up by putting his promo at the start of the show, clearly. Should have gone something else, but we will recover. Decent tag team title match next, as the Hardy Boys, as you will probably expect, beat the Lawlers. Jeff Hardy pinning Bryan with an Omega event. Jeff was head and shoulders above everyone else at a 68. Matt at 56, and the Lawlers 10 further back. Fifth defence for the titles, though, for the Hardys, and we really need to do something with our tag team. Maybe we need to do a Grand Prix for the tag titles. Maybe that's what we need to do. Probably won't, though. We haven't got enough good teams. 61 is okay. Well done. Move on. We want to get the crowd back into things, and this is how we do it. As Perry Saturn and Taka Michinoku have got great chemistry, and it really showed in this match. But the Rings of Saturn submission hold is enough for Saturn to win the junior heavyweight title. I don't think I would have ever thought this would happen, but he's at the limit, so he's in the group, he's in the division, so yes. 72 for the match. Excellent stuff. We'll run this one back again next month, that's for sure. But great match. 66 for Taka, 68 for Perry. We finally got something to do with Saturn as he goes into the fledgling junior heavyweight division and takes the gold. Then Andre the Giant does the JOB to the Goliath, and they've got great chemistry. Unfortunately, it's only a 6-minute match, and it's really short because Andre's really old. It's 1998, he should be dead. 53 for the match. Okay, but Goliath gets the victory. He moves on. He then cuts a promo afterwards and was very poor. So we're having great luck with our angles so far tonight. He talks down to his fallen father and thanks him for finally being a good father and showing the world how great Goliath truly is. There's only one giant now, and this victory is validation for everything he's said and done over the last few months. He's still undefeated. That's not the right way to go about getting him over, though, with that victory, that match, and this angle not the greatest of ratings. We pull things back, though, with an absolute clinic involving our Throne of Savagery against a group of faces with a... well, they're all in the tournament, and they've got the victory tonight. So Davey and Samu went bell to bell, wire to wire, and got a 20-minute draw earlier in the night, and they go again. This time Davey gets the victory. He teamed with Mark Mero, Terry Funk, and Brutus Blades, and he pinned Conga after some sort of power slam, I assume, or military press slam, some sort of big power move from Davey. Anyway, 79 for the match is cracking. Everyone put in a good performance. Mero 85, Samu 84 are both in the 80s, quite a few in the 70s and 60s. Conga down at 59, Haku at 57. Still, can't complain. Good match. Hopefully the crowd will start to stop being unclear. How they're still unclear after this Raven promo, I'm not sure. As world champion, Raven explains that his attack on Steamboat a few weeks ago was purely to show everyone that they are still playing by Raven's rules. It doesn't matter what the rules of the Grand Prix are, Raven is the real boss around these parts. If Steamboat doesn't like it, he can head back to where he came from, or maybe even the retirement home. Strong words from Raven. Promo only gets an 83, which is quite low, really, by Raven's scheme of things, but Hopefully we'll start to get the crowd into things as we close out the show. Next match isn't quite as good. It's a 70, and it's because it's two heels, really, which is not why it's not the main event. But Raven defeats his former protege, Christian Cage, with an even flow DDT and gets more points on the board in Block B. 77 from Raven, 57 from Cage. Again, could have been better. Raven being the best worker in the match means that he's not as good as Steamboat, basically. So he's never going to get that high rating. I'm expecting Steamboat's match, which is going to be the main event, obviously, to pull in a better rating than that. But still good. Still 70, not bad. Crowd still unclear as we go into the main event, which only gets a 78. And that's a surprise. Now, that's a disappointment as well. So Fujinami pulls in a 61 and drags the match down, essentially. Steamboat with a 90, as you probably would expect. Crowd not really into things. And it's showing with the rating at the end, a 78. So Steamboat gets the victory, by the way, in 18.5 minutes. Not quite 20 minutes. Not quite going to the wire, or the Dragon vs. Dragon. But another victory for Steamboat. 2 more points for him. 78 for the match rating. A little bit disappointing. The overall rating for the show is going to be showing as such. But after the match, Steamboat picks up another 2 points. But Raven once again tries to attack him from behind. The Dragon sees it coming, turns the table, and, well, the two men brawl throughout the ringside area as Ascension goes off the air. And it's a little bit of a disappointing pay-per-view. Probably because it's kind of treated like a bit of an extended TV show. But a 79 overall is not the best. I mean, when you compare it to Glory Road last month, it really is different. Nothing really. The angle at the end of 88 is the only one in the 80. Oh no, the two angles basically. But match of the night was the pre-show match where RVD defeated Stevie Ray. So that kind of shows you we're on the back foot from the beginning. As I put an Angeles Teca promo, he got a 60 something when he did his promo in Mexico, like 63 or 67 or something like that. So I kind of think, okay, let's go with it. No, 33. Mistake, won't do that again. Locker room we're not addressing. No injuries to report. Finance wise, pay-per-view revenue doesn't look like it's been hampered, so that's good. 2.3 million profit on the night is okay as well. Popularity recap. I mean, it's not done too much damage. We're into the 18s in Europe. We're still not gaining in the Midlands. Are we at the cap for where we can gain in the Midlands? Are we not actually going to be able to get onto ITV? That might be a problem. We'll keep an eye on that. Japan's going up to 63 now across the board. Canada's moving as well. I think that means we're now above the threshold to get MTV. We'll do that after the show. So let's check that. No media scrum there. We'll do a check as to whether we can get a new deal for MTV for our TV show. I think we can now. I think we needed to be at 65 in 6 regions. I think we've now passed that. We'll check out the league tables as well for both blocks. And maybe we'll have to start running shows in the Midlands again to try and get our popularity up to 48. Because at this rate, we're never going to get on ITV and never going to get the gains we need to keep growing, basically. Ultimately, we want to get on Sky Sports in the UK because that's where the big coverage is, and it goes into Europe as well. But we'll have to just try and figure that out as we go through. Let's see. Let's see what we can do. Obviously, we're going to try and see if we can get onto MTV now for... there's lots of hirings going on in the background. Jim Duggan's injured as well. And Ken Shamrock's won his MMA bout. Good for him. Right. Yep, he's won that. Brutus thinks Hoovy is clumsy. Probably is. We did get a pay-per-view overuse. So... Oops. It's only in Canada, though, so you imagine it's not hampered it too much. Ascension's rose in importance. Viewing figures are in. I think we're a little bit lower than... Let's just double check what we would normally see. Where's show history? Ascension. Let's see if we look here on Rogers, 113,000 compared to Glory Road, which was on Headline Sports anyway. So that's kind of why I forgot, to be honest. What was Redemption on? He got... where did we get? I can't see. Rogers, 135. Oh, because it's not much. It's not much different. Ascension on... Comcast got 778, Glory Road got 828. So we had more of a loss on Comcast than anything, but never mind. We'll just not make. We'll make sure this isn't on pay-per-view next month. That's the task there. Let's have a look at our tournament situation. So in Group A, Steamboat's on 6. The draw for Samu and Davy Boy puts them on 1 and 3 respectively. Fujinami down to 4, makes his first loss. We'll see how RVD gets on in his next bout as to whether he can keep pace with Steamboat. Angel Azteca gets some points on the board as well. Block B is Raven on 4 points, Brutus on 4 points. Has anyone actually had 3 matches yet? No. So everyone's on 2. That's where the situation is now. Obviously, they're going to be out of sync week on week because there's 3 matches each week. So it's an odd number and there's an even number. Yeah, you get it. Right. So we'll keep track of that throughout the next couple of episodes as well. But we'll go here now to reset. Yes, coverage in the US. Big or bigger. MTV is now on here with its very big coverage. So, I think, because we're currently on A&E for Unleashed, big coverage. Move over to MTV, commercial cable network, very big. Let's negotiate. New deal for Unleashed. It would go head-to-head with one other show in the time slot. Okay. They're not willing to offer that time slot, though. So, if we need to go to late night, that's fine. Purpose of the deal, we'll see if we can get some more money out of them. 25% is what we're going to have to do, I think. So we'll propose the deal. Yes. Because it clashes with A&E, it will not start immediately. But we will be moving on to MTV very soon. The A&E deal, I can't look on this page. I have to go back to here, which is annoying. The A&E deal for Unleashed ends in April. So in 2 months' time, we'll be moving over from A&E to MTV, which gets us even more coverage. It's really good. Now, what I want to check is in the British Isles, whilst we are here, our track on the Midlands. Where is the Midlands? It's at 45. I don't think we can grow anymore with this coverage, which is annoying. So we might have to start running the All-Star Wrestling show again each month. In fact, I'm going to do that now. I'm going to put that in All-Star Wrestling Dormant Monthly Event. Let's modify it. We're not doing 2 hours. We want to do 1 hour every month. Second Sunday. We'll go second Sunday. Bring it forward. Move it. Where? No. Move the event forward. Yes. Yes. We would like to do that. So if we put it to this, yeah, that's okay. We'll do that and make it active, and it needs to run in the Midlands, back to where we were doing it before. Right, save that. So if we look at now our schedule, we've got Inferno, and then All-Star Wrestling, and then back to more TV. So what we will do is our next episode will start on the 13th of February. We'll do those 3 TVs, that 4th TV there, and then Full Throttle. Ignore the fact it says it multiple times there. And then we'll be into March. And then we'll do... basically, in 3 episodes' time, we'll finish the Grand Prix. It's going to take a long while, but it's going to be fun. But MTV is where we're going to start moving things to in April. So by the time we get to the finale of the Grand Prix, the last couple of weeks are going to be on MTV, and everyone's going to love it. So there we go. Right, let's just do a quick championship recap. I don't think much has changed. Obviously, we've got the Power Driver Grand Prix there now as well. World champion still Raven, has not defended it for 36 days because of the Grand Prix. Perry Saturn, however, is the new junior heavyweight champion. We're going to run that match back again with Taka, though, because that was a great match. Tag team champions are still the Hardy Boys. Television champion is Samu. He's not defending it in 36 days either because of the Grand Prix. Quick look at our top events. Obviously, Glory Road still at the top there. Unleashed from February, the one just before. Is that 154? Is that was the Go Home show? So the Go Home show was 83. In fact, let's just quickly look at 1998. So the Go Home show was 83. The pay-per-view itself was 79, which is, better. Top match of the year is still, that Davy Boy and Samu match is up there though, 85. How does that fare against all time? 7th and 8th, joint 7th best match in company history on a throwaway TV show. Look at that. Right, that nothing else to look at here. Right, we'll end the episode here. Once again, thank you so much for watching. If you aren't subscribed, make sure you get subscribed. If you want to check out Patreon and support the channel over there, please do so. All Patreon members who are currently supporting the channel, including any new ones that have happened whilst I've been away on holiday, you'll be on screen in a second. So check out the rest of the playlist. Check out the other videos. So we've been doing a few videos whilst I just play some different games. I had them set up to go whilst I was on holiday, and hopefully I think a couple of them have landed whilst I've been off. One's gone really well from what I can see at this point in time. Check those out. Check out everything else on the channel. Check out the old WCW 2000 save as well. It's finished now, so you can watch it all in one sitting if you really want to, and check out the chaos there. But keep track with Local to Global. We'll be back again with our next episode very, very soon, where we'll continue the Grand Prix and get towards crowning the first ever Power Driver Grand Prix winner. All right, thanks a lot once again. I've been Anders, and I will see you on the next video.